You're on KVII-TV, Channel 7, Amarillo. This is ProNews, the noon edition, with Ev Avera, Andrea Miller, meteorologist Dave Harmon, and the Stock Report with Jess Miller.
Good afternoon. Randall County District Attorney Randy Sherritt is still not commenting on a lawsuit filed against him Tuesday.
He's accused of racketeering and a host of other allegations leveled in a federal lawsuit. 2 Lubbock police officers and defense lawyer Millard Farmer filed the suit claiming they're fighting to expose a cover-up of former pathologist Ralph Erdman's misdeeds. The suit names 12 defendants, including 47th District Judge David Gleason and 5 members of the Amarillo Special Crimes Unit. The suit asks for indictments against Farmer and the 2 officers to be thrown out, as well as unspecified damages. Farmer is to stand trial in Judge Gleason's court on Monday.
The search continues for a local attorney who was also a former Moore County court-at-law judge. Police suspect foul play in the disappearance of 39-year-old David Lewis. He was last seen Thursday night at Amarillo College, where he teaches class. Lewis's vehicle was found Tuesday in the parking lot of the new Potter County Courts building. His wife told police he had received death threats over the telephone recently. If you have any information regarding Lewis, please call the Amarillo Police Department at 378-3038. The capital murder trial of paroled killer Kenneth McDuff continues today in Houston. In opening arguments Tuesday, prosecutors said McDuff told others he was looking for crack cocaine and a woman the night a Waco convenience store clerk was abducted, raped, and killed. The victim's mother, Brenda Solomon, testified yesterday her daughter was a happy, hard-working woman. McDuff told reporters he was innocent, but never looked at Mrs. Solomon during her testimony.
The House Public Education Committee has passed the controversial Robin Hood plan and sent it on to the full House for debate next week. The proposal was passed along party lines, with 8 Democrats on the committee voting for it and 3 Republicans against. The plan would call for a constitutional amendment allowing some local property tax money to be redistributed among school districts statewide. The same idea was cut down by Republicans during the last special legislative session. Democrats say a state income tax is another option. Meanwhile, students at West Texas State University are staging a rally on the campus in Canyon at this hour in support of more funding for higher education. Today's event is a preview of a larger rally taking place Friday on the front steps of the Capitol. About 60 WT students will be traveling to Austin to protest against cutting higher education budgets during the current legislative session. ProNews has a crew in Canyon today, and we'll have more on this story this evening at 6.
The Clinton administration isn't saying a lot about economic plans, but we'll tell you what they are saying in just a moment.
And from Los Angeles, the civil trial against 4 police officers involved in the beating of Rodney King gets started. Stay with us.
It's now just 2 weeks until President Clinton gives Congress his complete plan on how to get the economy going again.
$31 billion is the newest estimate on how much it's going to cost to stimulate the economy, but the White House is tight-lipped about the actual figures.
The President hasn't made any final decisions yet on the amount of the program. I think that he is working on and looking at a stimulus program. I think it will be divided between a spending investment program on jobs in the short term, and will also include private sector incentives like an investment tax credit, as he talked about during the campaign, but the President hasn't made any final decisions on numbers.
This morning, President Clinton spoke to the Office of Management and Budget. He says in a few days he'll announce plans for White House budget cuts he says should set the tone for more cuts on a grander scale.
Meanwhile, Congress began work on the family leave bill this morning.
The Senate rejected the Republican alternative to the bill, which would have provided tax breaks to companies who voluntarily grant leave to employees.
And that clears the way for the version President Clinton is pushing. Ann Compton has more on what the bill could mean to American business.
For parents like Mitch Philpott of Atlanta, the family leave bill comes too late. In a conference call with President Clinton, Philpott told how he lost his job while his small son was in a coma.
To be going through that situation with your child is bad enough. The money part of it's bad enough, but to know that after it's all over, you've got to go find a job is really tough.
But small businesses like JR's Steakhouse in McLean, Virginia, are worried. With 55 employees, JR's would be covered by the new law, although some employees have been given leave time for years. Owner Jim Wordsworth now fears the high cost of training many temporary replacements.
To be a waiter or waitress here, it takes about 10 days to learn the menus, the computer system, the station pickups, the service techniques, and those kinds of things. The cost of 10 additional days of training just to replace one slot is an onerous cost, an absolute onerous cost.
President Clinton is eager to sign the legislation that will guarantee unpaid leave, up to 12 weeks of it, to anyone in a company with more than 50 workers. Health benefits would continue. The salary could not be cut. There is a catch. Companies that employ more than 50 people account for only 5% of all American companies, and they employ only half of the U.S. workforce. The other half, the ones who work for small businesses, get no guarantees on family leave. Ann Compton, ABC News, the White House.
Los Angeles is bracing itself for another trial of the 4 white police officers accused of beating black motorist Rodney King.
Jury selection began this morning. This time, the hearing is taking place in federal court on charges the officers denied King his civil rights.
But will this time be different? Brian Rooney reports.
What burned in Los Angeles last spring is still rubble. The youth of South Central have no jobs for the present and little hope for the future. The city enters this new trial with the same problems it had last spring and the same doubts.
There's a great deal of cynicism at this point in time among most African Americans, no matter what their station in life, that it's hard to get justice.
After 2 years and thousands of press reports about the Rodney King beating and its aftermath, the court must impanel a jury that has not made up its mind, and if necessary, will not be afraid to arrive at a verdict that could spark another riot.
Just because people have opinions about the case does not mean they're not going to be able to sit as fair and impartial jurors.
If a fair and impartial jury hears this case, it still might not arrive at a decision everyone agrees with. And that's what has Los Angeles worried. The 4 white police officers acquitted last spring now face charges in federal court that when they beat Rodney King, they intended to violate his civil rights, something that may be hard to prove. And while the cops are on trial, the trial of 3 young black men accused in the videotape beating of truck driver Reginald Denny is scheduled to start. The talk of Los Angeles is that justice itself is on trial, and more than a verdict rests with the juries.
What occurs here in Los Angeles and Southern California, I really believe is a precursor to what's going to occur in other cities.
Williams has some fear that what may occur is another riot, and his entire police department is getting training to handle it. Brian Rooney, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Meanwhile, a reputed gang member has admitted to spitting on Reginald Denny as the truck driver was beaten during the riots. Anthony Lamar Brown pleaded guilty to assault and robbery charges for attacking 2 other men. Brown could be sent to prison for up to 2.5 years when he's sentenced February 23rd. 5 others arrested in the attack on Denny are still awaiting trial.
Georgia fire authorities say a space heater may have started the blaze, which killed 7 people this morning. 5 children, 1 adult, and 1 teenager were killed in this house fire this morning. Officials say the victims apparently died of smoke inhalation. The blaze spread quickly through the wood frame house in a small community in northwestern Georgia. Investigators are trying to verify that the electric space heater did indeed spark the flames.
Some confirmation today on the question surrounding cellular phones and brain tumors. People are being told not to push the panic button, but to push the dial button a little less. That is the word today from the National Cancer Institute. Doctors there say there is little or no evidence to support claims cell phones may cause or accelerate growth of brain tumors. But they also say if you're still worried, just use your phone a little less.
Well, after spring-like temperatures, a return to winter is in the forecast. Meteorologist Dave Harmon is in next.
We'll also show you the aftermath of a volcanic eruption in the Philippines. Experts say a big one is in the future.
A volcano in the Philippines exploded without warning today. Rescuers recovered 30 bodies after the Mayon volcano erupted, spewing ash and some steam 15,000 feet into the air. Superheated debris tumbled down the slopes onto farming communities near this city 200 miles southeast of Manila. The Mayon is the most active volcano in the Philippines. The government's chief volcanologist says signs point to a major eruption within days. Well, Dave Harmon's in, and Dave, yesterday we kind of made fun of the groundhog, but he may be right.
Looks like that old booger might be right so far. Anyway, I wonder where that guy got his degree, rodent Penn State, maybe?
I think so. Probably. Somewhere around there. Maybe Pitt. Anyway, back to the Panhandle. We've got mostly clear skies. There's a lot of sunshine, and our temperatures have been warming rapidly. We're up to 45 already. Dew point's 29 degrees. Relative humidity started out this morning at 100%. Now it's down to 53, and our pressure is falling. Winds are out of the north. They've really kicked up, 24 miles an hour, gusting to 30 miles an hour, and it makes us feel like we're down to 30 degrees with the wind chill kicked in there. Well, we started out at 29 degrees. That's another day of above normal low temperature. 51 is the normal high. Now, we may get to 51, but I kind of doubt it, but the way our temperatures are rocketing up right now, we just might make it to that. We're definitely not going to make it to the record 81 set in 1934. And 4 below zero just 4 years ago, that was set, and that's our record low. Some other lows around the area, everybody, 20s and 30s, virtually everywhere except Hobart, 48 degrees, and Wichita Falls, 53, but 29 in Amarillo, 26 in Boys Ranch, and Dalhart, 31 in Clayton, New Mexico, 30 in Dumas, Guyman, Oklahoma, 29 degrees. As of 11 a.m., 42 down here in Lubbock, and then 61 in Midland, so there is a real kind of a weak cold front that is down there. That's bringing some cold air in, and our wind is out of the north. And some clouds are coming down, too, all the way to 59 in Wichita Falls, 53 in Big D in the other end of the spectrum, 29 up there in Denver, Colorado. Here's what the clouds look like from the satellite. Quite a few coming into southern and eastern Texas, and it's raining there, too. There's a lot of rain in other parts of the state. Mostly clear skies right now for much of the Panhandle, but that may not be the case for too long. You can see the southern half of the storm system that came out of Colorado and is in Nebraska now, and that is rotating around. That's bringing the clouds in from the north and northwest, and here's the wide-scale view of that. You've got a real good view of that spinning around, and the clouds coming up into southern Texas. More clouds coming into the northeast, and they're going to have more cold and snowy weather with lake effect snows. And some clouds moving onshore in the west as well, and it's starting to rain out there. But the majority of the rain, and the most widespread rain of all anywhere in the country, is in the Lone Star State, and it stretches from Brownsville all the way up through Dallas and into, well, Oklahoma and Kansas and the Ozarks area as well. Some of that up here around western Nebraska where the storm is centered is snow, and there's also some snow falling around Colorado still. Here are the clouds coming in. It's starting to rain in the Bay Area right now, and the jet stream shows you with these clouds, it's going way up to the north, but it's not going as far north as Alaska, and if you're starting to feel sorry for us because of the cold temperatures, check these out. 50s below zero in yellow, Fort Yukon, 57 degrees below zero, 56 below zero in Mayo in the Yukon, that's in Canada, but extremely cold temperatures here. That cold air and all those cold temperatures will eventually get to the east coast riding through Canada. We're not going to be anywhere near that for our low temperatures, but we will be in the 30s and upper 20s around here. And then tomorrow, Punxsutawney Phil was right, at least for tomorrow. Winter seems to be coming back, and we're going to have snow in northeastern New Mexico, and most likely for all of the Panhandle, most of it anyway, and we'll be lucky to get into the mid-30s for our high temperatures tomorrow. Here's the forecast then. Increasing cloudiness, increasing northerly winds, and a high temperature, well, 45 degrees, but that's where we're at now, and we will probably get a few degrees above that. Then tonight, we've got a chance of some snow, low temperature 28 degrees, and tomorrow snow is likely to fall, and we might get 1, maybe even 3 inches of accumulation. 5-day outlook shows that maybe another chance of some snow on Friday, then it starts to clear up. We get up to about 50 by Saturday, but this is going to be kind of a significant snow event for us.
Okay. So it looks like the furry creature was right, at least for now.
He was right for now.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Doctors in Houston are experimenting with a new drug to help stop depression. Mary Ellen Conway reports on Paxil and its success on patients without causing many side effects.
Don't expect things to...
The treatment of depression has changed radically over the years. Doctors now know relapses can be prevented if only patients can be convinced to stay on medication long term. That used to be a harder sell.
Well, most of the treatments that we've had available have so many side effects. Weight gain, sedation, blurred vision, constipation, and so forth, that people can't stay on them very long. They're just too uncomfortable.
Depression can occur when levels of an important brain chemical, serotonin, are low. Paxil is the newest entry in a class of compounds designed to fight depression by keeping more serotonin circulating in the brain.
Basically what we're trying to do is boost it up and keep it boosted back up into the normal range. You would like, while you're doing that, to do as little else as possible.
Taken on a once-a-day basis, Paxil has been able to do just that with relatively few side effects. We're told some people experience mild headaches or upset stomachs, symptoms which decrease over time.
Paxil is the most selective, the most specific, and therefore the best tolerated, the most incisive, the drug that goes where you need it to do the job that you need done and does as little else as any of the medications that are available, and as a result is a significant advance.
Doctors are also hopeful that Paxil will wind up proving effective in treating obsessive-compulsive disorder. I'm Mary Ellen Conway, reporting.
The Don Harrington Discovery Center is in need of volunteers to assist with supervision of exhibits, orientation of school groups, administrative work, and setting up and removing exhibits. If you enjoy learning about the planet and the solar system, this is the perfect volunteer opportunity for you. For more information, please call the Volunteer Action Center of the United Way at 376-6714. And if you're over 60, call the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, or RSVP, at 373-8389. Jess Miller joins us now with today's stock report.
And the market has been good lately, and today may be a record high.
Well, it's still a ways from it, but we're still about 60 points away from a record high, but it's kind of quietly creeping back up there towards the 3,400 mark.
Stock prices are sharply higher this morning in heavy trading as the market continues to draw support from signs of a strengthening economy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which took a rest and dipped a little over 3 points in yesterday's session, has jumped about 43 points today. It stands at 33.72. Gainers outnumber declining issues on the big board by almost a 2-to-1 margin. We have 212 million shares trading in the first 4 hours. Analysts note that evidence continues to accumulate, pointing to a sustained recovery in business conditions. On Tuesday, the Commerce Department reported that the index of leading economic indicators jumped 1.9% in December for its sharpest increase in nearly 10 years. Many economists believe some of the strength shown by the economy at the end of 1992 may not be sustained through the first half of this year. However, recent data still suggests that momentum has built up that has been lacking ever since the 1990-91 recession. There was little in the way of economic news to influence the market today. The main attention will likely be on the Treasury Department's quarterly refunding announcement this afternoon, when the details of next week's auctions will be released. Stock prices drew support from overseas markets with significant gains in Tokyo, Frankfurt, and London. Also, U.S. Treasury issues are steady this morning after slipping yesterday. Bond prices are mixed. However, the 30-year long bond is up about 1/8 of a point to yield 7.23%. Among blue-chip issues, IBM is up 1/8, Walmart has gained 3/8, Walt Disney is ahead 1, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing has jumped 2 1/8, and AT&T has risen 1. E-Systems has dropped 1 1/4. Germany is said to be abandoning development of a surveillance system for which the company was to be the main contractor. Among the most active issues on the New York Stock Exchange include Chrysler Motor, Glaxo Holdings, Merck, Pfizer, and Bristol-Myers Squibb. Again, stock prices are sharply higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up about 43 points. It stands at 33.72. We have 212 million shares trading in the first 4 hours.
Thanks, Jess. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, if you like the music of San Francisco, you'll want to stick around for our final report.
It's a San Francisco treat right after this. Finally today, the next time you make it out to the West Coast, you might want to visit the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. There is a toll to get across, but you get your money's worth, as Wayne Friedman explains.
Welcome to the Angry Zone. Oh, you've been here. Even when it isn't rush hour, you approach the Bay Bridge filled with memories of your last big backup. As such, when we arrive at the toll plaza, we tend to do so in bad temper because it's safer that way.
Hello there. Have a nice day, and thank you. Card check it in effect.
She, however, does not seem to have gotten the message.
I'm singing because I'm happy. I'm singing because I'm in a glee.
You ever get requests?
No.
Hey, Steph.
Yeah.
Go ahead and sing.
Card check it in effect. Stop.
By now, those who work on the Bay Bridge, and especially those who pass through every day, have crossed paths with Stephanie Dabney. She's been doing this for 5 years, but it only takes one time to make an impression.
Car checking here, car checking there, car checking everywhere. Lock your doors, you know the song. One night, I was on a graveyard shift, and I seen all the lights shining at me. And I just used my imagination that I was on stage. So I took a bow when I opened up my barrier. And everybody applauded me.
And a star was born.
Zoom, zoom, boom. Boom, boom, boom.
One amazing thing about Stephanie's act is the effect it has on her customers. Many people arrive with a frown and leave with a smile. For men especially, that's hard not to do when she takes their money and sings,
You make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Have a nice day.
You do, okay, so you do Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
You do rap.
Yes.
You do, what else?
I shake my rump.
The toll may still be $1, but the concert is free.
Ow.
On the Bay Bridge, Wayne Friedman, Channel 7 News.
And that is our time for now. Thanks for watching.
Please join David Green and Elizabeth Duncan and the rest of the Pro News crew at 6 for all the latest.
See you then.